Hello everyone and welcome to another video by me, Julius Wedding MC. It's truly a pleasure to have you here with me. Today's video is a very special one because we have Charmander here to provide us with the support and to ooze a little bit more of the personality, because today that is the theme. Who is Julius Wedding MC? Well, I'm a person who's very creative, someone who is a rap artist, someone who is a polyglot, someone who's a person who really likes to communicate and ensure that people are feeling well. So with all of that in the mix, you have a wedding host. Let's take you back through some of the formative years that I have had in the past that helped me become who I am today and actually start working as a wedding professional. Being a polyglot, knowing French, German, Russian, English and Bulgarian is really something that I cherish. I love to be able to communicate with different people in their native tongue. I feel that the communication is much more authentic, much more open, and just there's a lot more closeness and authenticity in the exchanges. Using my languages is a great asset, not only in my personal life, but of course as being a wedding host. I often find myself in situations where my clients have been looking for a person who can speak both languages of both sides of the couple. So perhaps we have newlywed who's Bulgarian and maybe his counterpart, his other half, is American. I've had situations where maybe the lady is Bulgarian but the gentleman is from Switzerland, so they need English and German. So very different, interesting situations. I've had the privilege to use all 5 languages that I speak at various stages of my career when I'm hosting weddings. So that's been really an enriching experience for me. And what I love the most about this is just having the privilege and the opportunity to enhance the wedding experience of everyone and to really play on that creative magic of doing my best to help people who would otherwise have a language barrier, and maybe some understand something, some don't, to help them as 2 separate sides have one and the same experience and to the best of my ability at the same time. So an interesting strategy that I use is I'll go up to a cliffhanger moment in one language. I will not actually say the crescendo word or punchline. I'll kind of follow up with the other language so that everyone's expecting of the follow-up at the same time, and then I will say the thing that is the crescendo, and usually it might be an international phrase, an international word, or something that you can kind of just understand from the context so that all of the guests can react at the same time. Now, this is not always possible to do, but it's a cool trick that I've learned and thought about and implemented in my career as the wedding host. So there you have it. Creativity, flowing, just being natural is something that's very important for me. And I think it comes across, especially when I'm hosting a wedding. I think people really enjoy just having someone that's very much himself. There you go. I'm even thinking right off the cuff now, just someone who is themselves. I think that's really key. The personality really oozes that you can really touch people authentically. I think I've covered quite a lot of points already, such as who I am as a person. I actually wanted to share a little bit more about my passion for rapping. It started when I was in high school. I participated in a talent show at school. I did a cover of 21 Questions of 50 Cent, and also a friend of mine and I made an original song and we ended up getting 3rd place, so that was pretty cool. When I came back to Bulgaria from the UK here about 10 years ago now, and almost marks a decade within which I've been a wedding host, I participated in some local venue beach bars where I rapped, and those were the first days, my formative years of having the jitters and stage fright, and with experience and with time I overcame all of that, and that's been a really curious experience how being someone who studied languages at the bachelor's level, so that's completely one direction, then deciding to pursue my creative passions such as rapping and coming back to Bulgaria to find a venue where I can really do this has kind of linked in together to me becoming a wedding host, where I have the best of all worlds. I have the languages that I dearly love. I have the opportunity to perform, rap and sing at the end of the wedding program as the official after party starter, and I have the opportunity to really be myself, because I find myself to be someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously, has a sense of humor, but at the same time does not take himself lightly. So I also have the side of being very organized, being very, very engaged and taking things to heart. So whilst I'm very laid back, and many of the newlyweds I work with tell me that I help them feel calm on the day of their special event. Maybe I ooze this calm energy, but at the same time inside there's like a storm of perfectionism that's waiting to announce itself. So there is definitely a dichotomy. The obsessive preparation mixed with the very flexible, easygoing, everything's gonna be all right attitude is kind of my bread and butter, kind of my way of doing my own magic. Because for me, being a wedding host is an art. It's almost an art and magic, because as you know, with magic you have to direct people's focus. So this is how I make this illusion. This is how, for me, it's something very special, and it really is a privilege. It really is a great career, a great vocation, something that the amount of energy you share, you get it back twice fold, and you create so many beautiful memories together. You get to learn so much about many beautiful couples. You even get to know their friends, and often in the journey of getting to know the newlyweds, or maybe like the brother of the groom who's the best man, who's holding a speech, you kind of really almost start feeling a part of the group, a part of the friendship circle. You kind of start already getting and understanding some inside jokes or creating new ones. It's really a great gig. All of this is to say that's my attitude towards the profession, and I think that says also a little bit more about me and who I am as a person. To add further to what my wedding host style is, I am always looking out and pinging around to see how people are feeling. What is the right next step? Should we stick strictly to the program? So quite flexible, quite adaptable, quite open to new ideas, trying out new stuff, but mostly very concerned with the newlyweds having a good time and their guests as well. So I'm very flexible. I have a very strict program. I make sure that we are in a position to execute on all things, but I am also ready to react to spontaneous situations, to adapt, to even incorporate surprises. We often have surprises by the guests, even I don't know about until the actual day of. And in those situations, we try our best to see, is this surprise appropriate? Will it be received well? Is it the right moment? How can we execute it? How can we include it so that we can give even another aspect, another facet to the experience of the newlyweds? And also, it's my responsibility to gauge whether I'm working with a wedding couple who would appreciate a surprise, or perhaps they want everything really structured just for their own sake, peace of mind, which is completely understandable. So it's really an ongoing, beautiful mess of managing spontaneous situations, unknown unknowns, but most of all just being the person who remains calm in critical moments, whether that's critical because of time pressures or critical because maybe someone fell over and we need to just check up on him, but at the same time not take away from the energy that's there. So just kind of helping everyone feel at ease. So that's kind of how I approach being a wedding host. A lot of care, a lot of emotion, a lot of tracking how people are feeling, what they're up to. Another thing, living through it. Hopefully in the future I'll have the opportunity to share with you a little bit more about what I do, and maybe even some pictures and video materials so that you can actually see firsthand when I'm in my storm and performing. So with all of that being said, my dear friends, why should you choose me to be your wedding host? Well, first and foremost, because I care. My motto is do it with heart or not at all. And I think that it's really hits home as to what my attitude is. If I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all out for you, and I'm going to be very transparent with you and tell you why something is a good idea, is not a good idea, or may need tweaking. So I'll help you manage your expectations, whether it be to how I can perform for you, or whether it be to what you are expecting, so that you can be kind of more in sync with the reality of how a wedding event usually goes. That's not to be disrespectful at all. That's just to say, with many years and almost a decade of experience, I have, of course, this nuanced feeling of how things might go, and I can give you a heads up as to what to expect. So that you're not surprised unpleasantly, or so that you are sure that you'll get the reaction that you want from something that you would like to have in your program. So care is number one, and two is just the assets that I bring to the table, whether it be the languages, whether it be helping with translating, whether it be hosting your wedding ceremony, whether it be helping you with your personalized program, giving you advice beforehand, or whether you would just like to have this person who thinks it's a good idea to have Charmander at a wedding video be your wedding host and just bring that little bit of extra twist, this little extra tweak, good emotion, good vibes, no matter what you're faced with. Then yes, I can definitely be that for you as well. I asked ChatGPT why it's a good idea to hire a wedding host. I didn't like the answers because I'm really picky, so I just kind of do my own thing anyways. But one thing that I like that was mentioned there is that you can imagine that the wedding host is like your wedding mentor or your wedding buddy. I kind of really like that notion that you have someone who's kind of been through the process already and is there to help you. He's not there to tell you what to do, but he's there to just advise, guide, help, and protect your interests. It's been quite a journey. We visited a lot of things, a lot of ideas. As you can tell, I get really riled up. I'm very passionate about what I do, and the excitement oozes through. So I promise to you that I'm a lot more socially attuned when faced with a person in front of me, and I don't talk so long without being interrupted. But there you go. When I'm faced with a camera, this is the result. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And please do let me know what else would you like to know about me. Has this information been useful? Do you think I've left out anything that's quite appropriate to mention and discuss? What's your experience been browsing around for a wedding host and making sure you find the right fit? I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for the next video where I'll be discussing how to find the right wedding host for you and what questions to ask them. I'll see you then. Bye bye.